Welcome to Las Vegas, where the only thing hotter than the weather, this guy's NBA picks. Scorching hot right now, and he has plenty more to come. Tyler Fulghum, Joe Fortenbaugh, welcome to your Monday installment of Bet. Would you bet on Tim Tebow to score a receiving touchdown this season? NBA Pick'em. We'll see if Tyler can remain red hot, and the return of Diamond Dollars, which we play every Monday. Not going to call anybody out, but one person is doing awful right out of the gate. If there's anything we covered today, or should I say that we don't cover, that you want to follow up on, check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ESPN Sports Betting, and you may be able to find it there. Reaction or no action is the game.
Yep.
The rules are very simple. A statement is read. If you agree, you react. If you disagree, no action. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right, let's fire it right down your wheelhouse. The NBA reaction or no action. After falling 99-90 in Game 1 at Phoenix, the Los Angeles Lakers will once again not break 100 points in Game 2 against the Suns.
So no action.
No action.
To the Lakers not breaking 100 is where I go.
Double negative.
I talk about it all the time during the postseason. LeBron-led teams, especially as of late in his career, have made a healthy habit of losing Game 1 as they feel out their opponent, then going on to win the series. You may recall last year in the bubble, they lost Game 1 to Portland, and Charles Barkley was on the TNT show. I guarantee the Portland Trailblazers are going to knock off the LA Lakers. We know that did not happen. They lost the first game of the second-round playoff series they played, and then went on to win that series as well. So this is playing out to the script I projected at the very least. LeBron and the Lakers would lose Game 1. They're going to come back. Even if they lose Game 2, I like even more buying in because of the value you'll get on the Lakers. I think they win the series, but I do think they take Game 2, get a road win by virtue of LeBron and AD having some positive regression from scoring a grand total of, 31, 36 points? It was something outrageous.
Good. It was not good.
I'm expecting them to get closer to the 50, 60 we expect out of those two. Therefore, that should leave the Lakers over 100 points.
Agreed, wholeheartedly. I'm going to agree with everything you say NBA related because you're scorching hot right now. But there are a lot of good reasons here. First and foremost, let's look at the side and the total for this game. Lakers minus 1.5, total 208. The implied team total for the Lakers here is about 105 points. So we're just being asked if they can break 100. Vegas is setting their line at 105. That's 5 points of value. So that's one reason we want to go in this direction. The other would be positive regression. Look at how the Lakers shot in Game 1. 27% from deep.
No bueno.
I think they should be able to improve upon that.
No good.
60% from the charity stripe. They shoot 74% from there during the regular season. They were 5th in the NBA. And the Game 1 pace, 87.3. You don't have to worry about the exact metric. All you need to know is this. Of 74 Lakers games this season, that was the slowest.
Yep.
The absolute slowest of 74 Lakers games. So do you expect that to happen again with poor shooting, with poor free throw shooting, with a team total that Vegas is telling you is going to be higher than 100? No bueno, as you just said. Let's go no action. They're going over 100. Number 2, reaction or no action. After claiming his 6th major title by winning the PGA Championship at Kiawah Island on Sunday, Phil Mickelson will finish outside of the top 30 at each of the 2 remaining major championships, the U.S. Open and the Open Championship.
No action yet again. I did not think Phil would win this specific tournament. I didn't bet any money on it. He wasn't in my DraftKings team. But long, long ago, before Phil turned 50, I had a scorching hot golf take that Phil Mickelson would win a major in his 50s, becoming the first golfer to do so.
Really?
And he did it almost immediately after turning 50. 51, I think, in a month or two. But Mickelson right now has as much talent. He's still a top 5 to 10 golf talent in the world when he's on his game. He proved that by winning this event. And he's right now, I think, in a great place physically and mentally. He talked about the breathing exercises, kind of getting into some of that zen that'll help him on the course. So just to finish inside the top 30 in one of the Opens, the U.S., his bugaboo, and the British, which he surprisingly won 8 years ago, those conditions of those tournaments mimic Kiawah very similar. Long, windy, and difficult. He just won at a long, windy, difficult course, so no action. I think he gets at least one more top 30 in one of the 2 remaining Opens.
Agreed. No action as well. Not just the breathing exercises. Do you know he fasts?
Yes, 36 hours a day.
36 hours a week. He just takes off from eating. I couldn't go 36 minutes with the way I like to do things these days, but that's neither here nor there. I want to take a look at the 2 remaining Open championships that he's going to be playing in. Where's the U.S. Open this year?
I believe, Joe, if memory serves me correct, it's at Torrey Pines.
Where is Torrey Pines?
Oh, that's right outside San Diego.
And who's from San Diego?
Philip Mickelberry III.
So number 1, he gets his home course for the U.S. Open, an event he has performed in quite well over his career. Then there's the Open Championship. It is at St. George. Guess what he finished there in 2011?
I'm going to guess top 10.
Second.
Second.
Tied for second at St. George. Now, that was in 2011, but Phil has had a lot of success at the Open Championship over the last few years. He's missed 2 cuts over the last 5 years, but the other 3 performances have been very good. Hit or miss, but we just need one of the 2 to be in the top 30. Philip can do it. He's playing with no pressure whatsoever. Number 3, as we work our way down the chain, reaction or no action. Currently the favorite at a price of plus 270, Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence will win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
A no-action clean sweep from your boy over here. At plus 270, he's the current favorite, and he's going to have ample opportunity to win this. However, I don't like the value of that bet. Why not bet at larger returns on your investment? Zach Wilson, who we know is going to start from day 1, a Trey Lance or Justin Fields, who probably should start from day 1, and if they do, are going to be legitimate competition to the Jags QB, because the Niners and Bears will probably be better teams than the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that doesn't even account for a wide receiver like Justin Jefferson from a season ago who could come in and dominate, or my favorite rookie at long shot odds, Javonte Williams, my boy, at 30-1.
Running
Denver
back,
Broncos.
North Carolina.
Exactly. So just there's no value to me on betting Trevor Lawrence. Too many other options, avenues for victory for someone not named Trevor Lawrence. If it got to maybe 5-1, then I'd start nibbling on Trev.
Absolutely. He's going to be very popular. He's going to start from week 1. He should roll up some stats. I'm no action as well. I would play Trey Lance at plus 650 for a lot of the same reasons you just laid out. Lance is a gamble because he might not start in week 1. Garoppolo could start, could play well, could hold on to the job. But remember, if Lance gets in there, number 1, look at the arsenal around him. George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Trent Williams back at left tackle. Kyle Shanahan is his head coach, who got career years out of Matt Ryan, an MVP, Matt Schaub, Robert Griffin III. He got Jimmy Garoppolo to a Super Bowl. He's going to put up numbers. He's got the weapons. He's got the offensive line. He's got the coaching. He's got everything you need. He's going to win games, 5 primetime games as well. Trevor Lawrence, we going to see him on primetime?
And don't forget, it's not just Trevor Lawrence making his NFL debut. So too is Urban Meyer.
Yes.
There's no guarantee Urban Meyer is going to acclimate immediately.
And speaking of the Jacksonville Jaguars, we need some insight into what our friends in the Southeast are up to. He covers the Jacksonville Jaguars for ESPN. Michael Dirocco joining Joe and Tyler here on Bet. Michael, we appreciate the time. Let's start with this. Tim Tebow officially signed with the Jaguars on Thursday. By Friday, Tebow was responsible for each of the top 5 selling items at NFLshop.com. What chances do you give Tebow of making Jacksonville's 53-man roster?
In reality, it sort of depends on the way they're going to use him. If they're going to put him out there at tight end and say, you're strictly a tight end, learn that position, you're not going to do anything else, then I think it's a real long shot that he makes that 53-man roster. But if Urban Meyer decides, you know what, we're going to move him around a little bit. We'll use him as an H-back, maybe give him some wildcat quarterback snaps, take a carry on a short yardage play, maybe even at times put him in the backfield with Trevor Lawrence at the same time, just to try to create some confusion in matchups. If that's the plan, then I think he actually has a pretty solid shot of making that roster.
Well, I guess the follow-up to that then, Michael, is which way do you think Urban Meyer intends to use Tim Tebow? Did he sign him to have him strictly be a tight end, or did he sign him to be a jack-of-all-trades, Taysom Hill type of piece?
I think it's going to be the latter, maybe a Taysom Hill light, I guess, especially since he's about 4 years older. And, I think he's going to get some snaps at tight end, too. They really want to work him there as well. But I do think that we're going to see him in some other spots, too.
How do other players on the Jacksonville roster feel about the Tebow signing?
The bottom line is there hasn't been a whole lot of complaints, and none that I've heard. The worry was, would he be a distraction? And so far, I've been told that that's not the case. And Tebow is going to be a guy that works real hard. He's going to put in the effort in the weight room. He's going to put in the effort in the film room and all that other stuff. So the guys will see him working, so there won't be any hard feelings that way. And here's the thing. More than half of the guys on this 90-man roster are only in their first or second years in the league. So there's a lot of guys that are just trying to make this team, and that's more of their priority than worrying about somebody else.
Michael, what are the Jags saying to either people, players in the league, of course the media and fans outside the league that believe this is just a publicity stunt, that Tebow is only getting the shot because of Urban Meyer? Have they made any type of statements about those type of doubters?
Well, not the latter part about him only getting a chance because it's Urban Meyer, but that's the bottom line. Tim Tebow called Urban Meyer. He didn't call Bill Belichick for a tryout. He called his old college coach. So there's really no denying that he's got this chance because of his relationship with Urban Meyer. And in terms of publicity, look, the Jaguars were ahead of their pace of selling tickets this season tickets this year, than they were in 2018, which is when they were coming off their surprise run in the AFC Championship game. So Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer were already a huge draw in terms of season tickets for this team.
All right, finally, Michael, we run a show here called Bet. So as it pertains to Tim Tebow, we want to be able to turn to the markets and make a wager on the impact or lack thereof he can make in 2021. DraftKings has thrown some gasoline on the fire. They have these props out there for Tebow. Plus 125 to go over 12.5 receiving yards this season. Plus 225 to catch at least one touchdown pass. And 33-1. Big long shot to win Comeback Player of the Year in the National Football League. Are any of these bets worth taking in your estimation?
You know, the over 12.5 receiving yards, that's intriguing to me a little bit because, you look, that could be one catch and a broken tackle. A defender tries to get him and misses. That kind of I guess, a broken play could end up with a 15, 20-yard gain. So, that one probably intrigues me more than any of the others. If there was a line for rushing touchdowns, I probably would feel a lot better about that one.
He covers the Jaguars for ESPN. Michael Dirocco joining Joe and Tyler here on Bet. Great stuff, Michael. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it, guys.
Keeping it tight, do you think Tebow makes the roster?
I will bet a lot, like multiple units, that Tim Tebow is playing in the NFL this year for the Jacksonville Jaguars in the exact role that Michael laid out, Taysom Hill light, not as a tight end. He's going to be quarterback, wildcat, fullback, H-back, maybe tight end, 1 or 2 snaps, but he's going to be a weapon, especially in short yardage and red zone situations for Herb.
Well, there's unit number 1 for that wager. The guy couldn't play when he was in his prime. He's way past his prime. Now all of a sudden he can play. Back then he never wanted to be a tight end. Now all of a sudden he will be a tight end. If he makes that team, I think that locker room's going to look around and think it's a fraud.
I think Michael made a good point there as well. More than 50% of the 90 guys who are trying to break this club are first or second year players. They don't have the equity to look at Tim Tebow and say, you haven't earned this. Because Tebow's old enough to be, not their dad, but big brother.
An older brother who kind of was driving while you were in elementary school. That kind of older brother. All right. Here we go. Time to make some bets. NBA Playoff Pick'em Monday edition coming your way right now. We were in a big hole last week. We were 4-8 combined going into the final show. This guy goes 5-2 over his final 7 picks. I went 4-3 over my final 7 picks. We got to 13-13. So not profitable. We lost the juice.
Yes,
but we were able to salvage. And over the last 3 weeks, the show's profitable. Winning week. Lost a little last week with the juice, but we're ready to move forward. Thank you. 5-2. You were fantastic.
I smell a winning week this week, my friend.
All right, here we go. Let's
Locked
start
in like lefty.
with tonight. The Milwaukee Bucks are laying 4.5. Total is 223.5 as they host Miami. In Game 2, Milwaukee leads 1-0.
I don't know. Gee, let me think. What do you think my bet's going to be here, Joe?
The same thing it's been going all the way back to when I first met you. Every time you're asked about what you like in a Miami-Milwaukee matchup. It's very particular.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yes.
Under 28.5 points. The market's moving a little bit. The market's moving a little bit. It was 29.5 for Game 1. He went under with overtime. It's 28.5 for Game 2. I'm going to go under again. Very simply, the best, or for Giannis, the worst defensive matchup in the entire NBA for his skills and ability to put the ball in the bucket is the Miami Heat. Why? Well, they're a defensively dominant team because of Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley's scheme, and Bam Adebayo may be the most uniquely equipped player in the entire universe to handle the unique challenge that is Giannis Antetokounmpo. So all of that, again, I am regurgitating to you under on Giannis, 28.5.
I think you could come out and say you would rather continue to bet this under and lose than bet it over,
1,000%.
considering how it's played.
I believe there was one game last year where he scored 29 points, so I don't know what his point prop was in that game. But at worst, The under for Giannis in the postseason against Miami is 4-1 the last 2 seasons. At best, if that was 29.5 or 30, it's 5-0. It's
What would it have to be for you to go the other way?
25.
25.
It had to be in the 25.5 or 24.4 range.
All right, I'm going to play the over 223 in this game. And some people might look at that and go, you're crazy. They scored 198 in regulation in game 1. Why would you want the over? Well, ask yourself this. Why is the over creeping up throughout the course of the day? Regression, or we should say positive regression. There was a reason these two teams didn't score very much in game 1. They couldn't shoot to save their lives. Milwaukee shot 16% from deep. Not 60, 16% from deep. As if they took 100, they made 16. That is awful. By the way, they were the 4th best three-point shooting team during the regular season. Number 2, Milwaukee shot 60% from the free throw line. Now, Milwaukee's not a very good free throw team, but they shot 76% from the stripe during the regular season. So again, that should get better. And then that leads us to the Miami Heat, who shot 36% from the field. That is horrible. They aren't a very good shooting team. They ranked 14th in field goal shooting during the regular season, but still 47%. This is 11% less. Both teams are going to shoot better in this game. They might play at a faster pace. If they don't, I don't even think it's going to matter. You can't shoot that poorly again. We're going over. Zigzag theory. You're going to hear a lot about that now that the playoffs have arrived. Game number 2, the Denver Nuggets laying 2, total of 226.5. They're in an 0-1 hole at home, taking on the Portland Trailblazers.
This bet is approaching Giannis territory, but given the circumstances in Denver and this first-round matchup, I will be betting Michael Porter Jr. over player point props in every game the Nuggets play the Trailblazers. And it will have to get to about 28, 29, 30 for me to think otherwise. It is once again at 23.5, 24.5, but you get a good price, minus 105 on MPJ. He cleared this threshold with 25 points in game 1, despite Joe going 1 for 10 from 3. Michael Porter Jr. is quite literally one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA, 44.5% this season. That is something that we have tremendous positive regression in line for MPJ. And guess what? With only him and Jokic as offensive weapons, Mike Malone knows Porter has to get 28, 30.
Michael Malone. He got very mad.
Knows Michael Porter Jr. needs to score 28, 30 plus points for them to win. So I'm just going to blindly bet the over until the market corrects.
Coach Malone, I did not say that.
Sorry, Michael.
He did. Take it up with him.
Sorry, Michael Malone.
All right, Michael Malone. I'm laying the 2 with your boys tonight. It has nothing to do with what you prefer to be called. Few things here. Denver has been quite resilient coming off a loss in the latter stages of the season. There was a window in early February where they lost 3 in a row. It's one of the worst stretches they've gone through in a while because they've been quite good. Since that time, they've gone 11-3 straight up, 8-6 against the spread in the 14 games they've played coming off a loss. They've been very good. This is a tight spread tonight. Remember, in those 14 games, they outscored the opposition by an average of 11 points per game. So they don't just bounce back, they blow you out in the bounce back. I also want to take a look at what happened in game 1 as we continue to talk about regression and positive regression. Portland was red hot from deep. They shot 47%. Do we expect that to continue? Denver was not hot from deep. They shot 30%. Do we expect that to continue? That'll bring the two closer together. The Nuggets only shot 8 free throws in this game.
Yeah.
They don't shoot a ton of free throws by average, but they average 19 a game. You can't shoot.
Did Michael Malone say anything post-game about the refs? Did he do some diplomatic politicking?
If he didn't, he should have. Trae Young was getting every call at the end of the Knicks game yesterday, which was horrific. They barely breathed on the guy. Trae Young, I like you. You have not earned that type of officiating yet. Shame on you. Bet the Knicks in game 2 because the officiating's got to bounce back around. Game number 3, we go to Tuesday's card because we're not back until Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern on all ESPN digital properties, including ESPN Plus. The Brooklyn Nets, minus 9.5, total of 227. They have a 1-game lead in this best-of-7 series against the Boston Celtics.
Again, I think there's a soft point prop to attack here.
Okay.
Kevin Durant over 27.5
I have heard of him.
For the easy money sniper. He had 32 points in game 1 against this Boston team. We know the matchup has been made easier on the perimeter because Jaylen Brown is out for the rest of the season, rest of this postseason with his injury. So the best perimeter defender not available for the Celtics makes it an easier matchup for Durant. He cleared this easily in game 1 despite Joe Fortenbaugh, a very un-Durant-like 10 of 25 from the floor and 1 of 8 from downtown. He also led the team in minutes with 39, so of the big 3, Steve Nash is leaving him out there the most. This is way too soft. I'll play Durant over in this matchup, close to 30, 31.5 points.
Okay. I am going to go ahead and just lay the 9.5. So I hope you're right. I hope Durant has a huge night. I hope they all have a huge night. It seems like it's a big number, but Is it? Brooklyn won by 11 in game one, despite shooting 41% from the floor, which is down 9% from where they were in the regular season, number one in the NBA, despite shooting 23% from deep, which is down from 39%, where they're second in the NBA, despite trailing by 5 after the first quarter, and despite trailing by 6 after the first half. All that, and they still won by 11. Now imagine, if you will, if the Nets play well for 4 quarters. What could happen in this game? Generally, with the big numbers, I'll look for something else. I'm going to lay the 9.5 here. Not a lot of faith in the Boston Celtics.
Agree.
Game number 4, also on Tuesday, the Los Angeles Lakers of Los Angeles find themselves in an 0-1 hole at Phoenix, but they're laying 1.5, totals 208.
Talked about it at the top of the show when we're doing reaction or no action, but a trend I like riding is LeBron and his teams to bounce back after a loss of any kind in the postseason, especially a game 1 loss. Okay, so if we look at LeBron's triple-double prop, I'm going to go back to one of my old faves. It's at plus 450, Joe.
There you go.
We need some units after last week. We need some units. So
yes, we do.
LeBron, if you calculate at plus 450, the market says there's an 18% chance that he gets a triple-double.
Okay.
Coming off a loss, do you think there's a better than 1 in 5 chance LeBron James triple doubles? Keep in mind, in the 2 meaningful games he's played, play-in and the first game of this series, he triple doubled against the Golden State Warriors, and he was 3 rebounds shy of a triple double in game 1 against the Phoenix Suns. Let me think. The Lakers need LeBron to show up in a big game, and he's going to play all the minutes. Triple-double at plus 450. It should be closer to a 2-to-1 proposition than 4.5-to-1 for me. Value here. I'll buy LeBron.
I see all the logic with the 2 key points being it's a playoff game where you're down 0-1 and you're going to play a big-time amount of minutes, which leads to more possessions and more opportunities. I will play over 208 in this game. Now, they scored next to nothing in game number 1. What was it, 189 total points were scored?
189, 99-90.
So a lot of people will be saying, why are you going to bet 208 over? Well, first of all, game 1 was 214. We're already down 6 points, and I see value going the other way. Let's talk about the pace. The pace of that game between the Suns and the Lakers in game 1 was 87.3. That is the slowest of all 74 games the Lakers played this year, and the 3rd slowest of all 73 games the Suns played this year. I don't see that happening again. The Lakers shot 27% from deep. The Suns shot 32% from deep. The Lakers shot 60% from the stripe. You get the theme. This is how I like to bet in the postseason. Essentially, zig while everyone else is zagging. People see a low-scoring game. They think it's going to happen again. I'm going to go the other way. So in this one, over 208, that's going to be the play. Final game, Tuesday, Clippers. Who would have thought they'd flame out in the playoffs? You called Dallas for the series, so what do you think about this one? Clippers laying 6, total of 216, hosting the Mavericks, who are up 1-0.
Yet again, I'm just going to go back to play the hits. All reliable, baby. I'll take the 6 points in my pocket with the Mavericks. I bet that they, with the points in game 1 and that cash, obviously, as they won. I also noticed a Luka Doncic player prop that I love. Over 2.5 triples for Luka Doncic. And his 31-point triple-double in game 1. Luka was 5 of 11 from downtown, easily clearing this threshold. Don't love the juice. I don't usually like to lay that much, but I think this number is way too low. He averages more than 8 attempts per game this season, and for his career, Joe.
I like it.
Playoffs and regular season, he averages 2.7 made threes per game. That's over this total. I think he's going to rip from downtown 10, 11 times again and make at least 3.
Let's do it. I'm going to play the over in this game. I played the under in game 1. Thankfully, that hit. I will go in the opposite direction for this one. Let's talk pace again. 85.6 between the Clippers and the Mavericks. Oh my God, you know how low that is. Slowest of 73 Dallas games this year, slowest of 73 Clippers games this year. Neither team all season has played a game that slow, and I think for the Mavericks, it hasn't even been close. Do we see that happening again? Clippers shot 27% from deep. Did you know that they are the #1 3-point shooting team in the NBA, and they shot 27% from deep? Dallas' defense is better, but not that much better, and this game still got close to going over the total. I think it was 213 points. Barely got in there. So I'm going to play over 216 now that there's been an adjustment. Would you rather? That's the name of this segment right here. Would you rather? And the question is very simple. Kevin Durant and LeBron James, you may have heard of them. They play sports. Ooh. They are both currently listed at plus 450 to win NBA Finals MVP here on Monday morning. So, what would you rather? Bet LeBron James or Kevin Durant to win Finals MVP? You can only choose one of those two.
Really good question. I'll just start first and foremost by saying LeBron James is my answer. I'd rather bet him at plus 450. I still think the Lakers are better equipped i.e. more likely to win the NBA championship, which is going to be a big requisite for you to win the Finals MVP, than the Brooklyn Nets. They have something they can rely on and win games even if their offense is substandard, their defense. The Nets, on the other hand, they have to play dominant offensively for 4 games and win a series because their defense is not going to carry them to any victories, especially when they start playing better defensive teams or better, more well-rounded teams in the Eastern Conference, I should say, like Milwaukee, like the Philadelphia 76ers, should they get to the finals, whether it be the Lakers or another team out west. So it's close because I think Durant has an easier burden to carry to winning it because he has so much help around him. He'll score 35 points without blinking because he has Harden, because he has Kyrie, and the East is a little bit I don't know, a little bit easier. I don't know, but burden is not as.
Then why say it?
Well, because the Bucks are good, the Sixers are great. We think of the West as deeper and better, but I mean, if the Bucks and Sixers were out East, I think they'd give Philadelphia and Phoenix and Utah a run for the money. I digress. Bottom line, it's LeBron here because I think the Lakers are the better equipped team, the more likely team to win the NBA championship, though it is very, very close because the burden Durant has to carry versus the burden LeBron has to carry, who might not be at 100%, much, much heavier.
Okay, I'm with you on this. And I originally started by writing down Kevin Durant. And the first thought piece in the analysis was Durant's going to have an easier path to getting to the finals. Then I actually paused and I looked. Outside of what LeBron's going to have to do against Phoenix, it's actually a lot easier than what Durant's going to have to deal with. So the first hurdle is going to be tougher, but then you're going to get the winner of Portland and Denver. And I don't really see that as a major threat. Then you'd end up in the conference finals taking on either Dallas, who has defensive efficiencies, the Clippers, who are very soft when it comes to closing out games, Memphis, who, if they make it there, good for them. I don't see them beating Lakers, or Utah, who has already shown vulnerability in Game 1. Point being, I think LeBron's got the easier path, as crazy as that sounds. He's got to get past Phoenix. Remember, the Nets are going to get the winner of Milwaukee-Miami. That's not going to be easy.
That's last year's Eastern Conference champ, or a team that has won the East in the regular season each of the last 2 years and has a better roster with Drew Holiday switching out for Eric Bledsoe.
Precisely. And then if you get by that and you got Philadelphia waiting, well, that means Philadelphia won 2 playoff series, which is something Philadelphia never does, which would mean the confidence is there and they're playing well. So I think it's going to be tougher. Plus, if it's LeBron and the Lakers winning, LeBron versus AD. If it's Durant and the Nets winning, it could be Kyrie Irving, it could be James Harden. There's a lot to factor in there. And the injury concern. Is Durant going to be healthy all the way through? He's battled a lot of injuries this year, although LeBron has to an extent as well.
That's a point I didn't think of, but I do like. As great as KD and as efficient as KD will likely be, Kyrie Irving could be the leading scorer in a series. James Harden could average a triple-double in the series, in the finals, should they get to that point. There's more team competition on Brooklyn than LeBron. It's either LeBron or AD. If the Lakers win, there is a 0% chance that anyone besides LeBron James or Anthony Davis is the finals MVP. So the odds there increase. And again, I just think they're the better team.
And the counter to you agreeing with my original point on this was Durant's already played on superstar teams in the finals and has won the award.
Yes, he has.
So, he's already.
Both times they did, he was the MVP. That's fair.
And so concludes Would You Rather. Let's wrap up Monday with a little something called Diamond Dollars. We debuted this segment last week, and we're going to play it every single Monday. Here's how it works. Tyler and I each started with a $100 bankroll, and we're going to make baseball bets every Monday from now until the end of the regular season. Whoever accumulates the biggest bankroll by the end wins. One caveat, if you lose all your cash, you're out. There's no reloading. This isn't a poker tournament. And last week did not go well for your boy. 0-2 right out of the gate. I could have just started easy. Pick one, go minimum. No, had to come out
firing. We're swinging for the fences on a 0-1 count in the first inning. Just letting it rip, baby.
Like an expletive. I'm going to say I came out swinging like an expletive because I can't say it here. It's a family-friendly company. You, however, very nicely done. You are profitable, very smart. So we're going to start with you. You're allowed to bet multiple games if you want. You're allowed to get kooky here.
Sure.
What are you thinking?
Well, if you noticed, I bet the Chicago White Sox run line
the exact same
against a left-handed starter. Guess what I'm doing today? I mean, Joe, I'm just playing the hits on this bet.
I was going to say you would make for an excellent DJ in the year 2020.
Chicago White Sox run line against my St. Louis Cardinals. Kwang Young Kim is the starter. He's a lefty. The Cardinals lineup is going to be an easier matchup for Lance Lynn because Tyler O'Neill and Paul DeJong are hurt. Dylan Carlson didn't play over the last 2 games of the weekend against the Cubs. They mustered just a couple of runs in 2 games against the Cubs on Saturday and Sunday. And just love Lance Lynn. Love that White Sox lineup against a lefty. I'll roll with it.
All right, very nicely done. I am going to make 2 bets. Both are going to be on the Detroit Tigers over the Cleveland Indians. One to win the game, one in the first 5 innings, which is going to cost me a little bit more. Cleveland's 24-20. Detroit is 18-28. Why is the line moving to Detroit? Funny you ask. Right-handed pitcher Spencer Turnbull, 2.88 ERA this season. He's been fantastic. Over his last 3 starts, just 3 earned runs in 18 innings pitched. Cleveland really struggles to hit right-handed pitching. Tyler Fulghum, Joe Fortenbaugh, this is Bet. We'll see you on Wednesday. Thank you for watching.